Hello, everybody. I'm Matthew Brune here with Colin Mitchell for our BCBuckets draft breakdown. And Colin, the Knicks are on the board here. We've heard a lot of rumors saying that they're going to pick Obi Toppin, possibly. I personally think they should take Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, they need a point guard. They have Frank Ntilikina,
yes,
Elfrid Payton, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have anybody that matters on that team, and they have like 19 power forwards. So you mentioned Obi Toppin. If they take Obi Toppin, your front court's more full than it was, and if you don't take Tyrese Halliburton, you don't have a point guard still.
Literally any of the point guards I'd be happy with. Cole Anthony, Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey,
you could pick
Kyra Lewis.
I'd be Nico Mannion.
Any point guard,
yeah,
I'm happy with. But it feels like they're going to force either Deni Avdija or Obi Toppin. That's what it feels like.
I think to me, New York's in New York, and they're going to pick Obi Toppin. That is my prediction.
And I don't think Obi Toppin's a bad pick. Especially if you're swinging for the fences, even though he is an older.
But why
player.
would you do that as New York if you're trying to attract free agents? That's the
thing is,
that's the problem in New York. And you had a star in Kristaps, and you couldn't bring free agents there. So, I mean, I think Obi going to New York is not good for New York, and it's not good for Obi.
It's bad for Obi.
Yeah,
I will say this because we've talked about what we think about Obi Toppin, and while we both have our fears about him as a player, in the right system, I think at the Wizards he'd be really, really solid.
Yeah.
I think put him with the Suns.
Yep.
That's really, really solid.
Yep.
The Knicks, you have nothing to work
Yeah.
with. Imagine Obi Toppin with Chris Paul. Woo! Now we're talking. But instead, we haven't looked at Twitter, we haven't looked at Woj or anything. We don't know who they're going to take. But Obi Toppin was said to not be falling past 8 because the Knicks said, we're taking him.
Yep. And man, if you bring him the Knicks, he's your number one option basically. And
probably their best player next year. like what are we talking about here? RJ Barrett, cool, he's good.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, I mean it's easy to forget about him when he didn't really do too much last year.
So here we go.
Let's see who they take.
With the 8th pick, in the
Adam Silver knows.
NBA draft, the New York Knicks select Obi Toppin.
Awful pick.
Dayton University.
Awful pick.
Sorry, Obi.
Obi, your career was ruined just now.
You never had a chance.
The thing with Obi is that first of all, he absolutely needs development. And New York does not have any of that. They don't have any stability. They don't have any structure. You don't have any vets that can kind of bring you through. You think Bobby Portis is going to teach Obi Toppin what he can do as a player? This just made Obi's ceiling drop drastically. We said he's one of the highest 4 players. He can dunk and he can score on the inside. That's always going to do the rest of his career now.
Here's what I'll say. He has to get his defense better in order to make it in the NBA.
Yes.
Or at least to reach what we think is his potential. Tom Thibodeau's the head coach. That maybe could help him get to that level defensively where he needs to get.
But again, where was Tom Thibodeau before? The Timberwolves, which we just talked about being not stable at all, and then before that it was the Bulls. Like New York is the poster child of being the most unstable franchise where no one wants to be outside of it being called the New York Knicks.
I agree. I don't like this pick. I don't like this pick.
And I hate it more so for Obi. And
I think that they needed to get a guy they needed to pick a player who in 2 years will be attractive to free agents.
Yep.
And I think that Obi Toppin in 2 years will be 24 and a half years old, and he's going to be a similar player to what he is right now, which could be good, but it's not going to be what we think that other players in this draft could possibly
it's not going to make
and if you're the
Giannis
Knicks,
for some reason want to go to the Knicks.
And if you're the Knicks, I feel like they could have traded back possibly and gotten a point guard, maybe Kyra Lewis later on, or gotten another player, and then gotten a player or another draft pick as compensation for that. Maybe a high second, maybe something like that, or maybe a future pick.
And not only that, you need to pick a player that's polished. I think Obi Toppin's offensive game is obviously he has a lot of ways he can score, but in terms of being polished as an NBA player, Tyrese Halliburton was your pick. I mean, like we said, defensive footwork isn't there. Offensive footwork in the post isn't even there. Yeah. He can shoot and he can dunk.
Yeah.
And once the athleticism wanes, what is he at 29? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to put up really good numbers this year.
He probably will, but what is it worth?
Again, all that matters to me is how good these guys are in 2 to 3 years.
Exactly.
Because none of these guys that are taken in the first 10, besides, I guess, James Wiseman, is going to help a team win right now in the playoffs.
Yep.
And that's what you're picking Obi Toppin to do. And that's
Yep.
what you're picking anybody to do.
Yep.
So it's interesting to see what Obi does. Congratulations to Obi Toppin. But I'm very, very interested in this pick from the Knicks perspective.
Yep.
With the 25th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Emmanuel Quickley from the University
Woo!
25th. I have him 27th.
Oh, I have him 32.
And this pick will go to the Knicks on that earlier trade that they had.
Okay.
I don't like this for the Knicks again.
Well, who did the Knicks just
Also,
take?
Emmanuel Quickley is not a point guard.
I'm sorry. Who did the Knicks just take?
They traded it. Remember, Leandro
Bolmaro.
Yeah.
Okay. Personally, I like Emmanuel Quickley.
I do.
Love Emmanuel Quickley. I don't see him as a guy who has a ceiling that's particularly high here. However, his shooting ability, you can't go wrong with having a really good shooter on your team here. And he's long, can kind of defend. So for all those reasons, I like him. Now, do we know what he got traded for? What the Knicks traded?
Yeah,
for
the
this pick?
23rd pick for the 25th and 33rd for Minnesota.
Okay, that was that one. I'm sorry, the trades are hard to keep up with when we're doing this in real time here. That's not bad.
I don't like the pick for them. We talked about them needing to swing for the fences.
I don't hate the pick. Now you're saying they need
I do because
so-
why didn't they get a guard? Why didn't they get an actual point guard?
Tyrell Terry's still on the board.
That's what I'm saying. Emmanuel Quickley, although they just said he's a point guard, he is not a point guard. Trust me when I say that. He is not a good passer. He's an okay passer. He's like KCP with long arms.